Midwest side goes ruthlessly narratively driven podcast you'll ever turn by. I'll be in fall. We dig so fast, dice roll and roll in this fun. Never solo, no, it's known to the Dogs of Warcry.
Dogs of Warcry is a podcast from the Mortal Realms focusing on Warcry, a fast-paced cinematic skirmish game by Games Workshop. You can expect discussions on gameplay, rules, homebrew, lore, painting, terrain, narrative gaming, leagues, and events. Welcome to Dogs of Warcry. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the two Warcry events we ran at our Mortal Realms Con 2025.
Oh, yeah.
Run by Mike, myself, and Vint participated in both. So excellent. The con was put on by our Mortal Realms Podcast Network, and we had an integrated thematic event with all the events kind of pulled together for some interesting lords that we developed some background for, and we'll kind of touch on that as we go through. And, of course, we're going to be talking about the hobby progress, games we've had, and other games-related activities. Obviously, you can see Vint and Mike are with me tonight. How are you guys doing?
We're great.
Fantastic.
We're ready to record.
That's good. We didn't get this one out as soon as we wanted because, holidays and Nurgle and other things kind of get in the way. But,
Vint got all full of bugs.
I did.
Tiny bugs.
It's been pretty rough, guys. I almost demonetized us in the first 2 minutes. That have been rough. It's been rough. All that money we get from our podcast. Oh, YouTube, take us down.
We're glad you've been deloused from the insides out, Vin. Glad you're feeling better.
Right.
Purify
You're not supposed to drink the water from dark water.
Right?
That's right.
Clearly.
Gelgus Pust's revenge. It's coming.
Oh, no.
Well, we'll kick off with the Forge of Mithraxis. What sort of hobby progress have you been up to, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Progress, huh? Busy guy. Working on a lot of stuff. You know me. I'm a painting fiend. You can't stop me from painting fast. But life does sometimes get in the way, so I haven't made a lot of progress. Still working on my river blades. You'll hear that for another couple of probably years. I'll just keep bringing them up until they're finally done. I did get into a little mischief on Black Friday, and I found a good deal on. I'd been thinking of a KO board for a while, and I've been building. What's it called? I wish I could see it. It's a little right there. It's the Necromunda. It's the one from Ashen Wastes.
Right.
Ash Wastes, and it's like the platforms and stuff like that. I'm trying to make that into like a KO, like Skydock / like cargo kind of area board.
Very cool.
Man, that terrain is very cool. It is awesome. It is pretty modular, and it's fun to build, and it's easy to build. It's not like a ton of just like cleaning, the whole time. So, got to get a little bit more of it for the board. But yeah, I've been building that.
Awesome.
I primed the whole. I got really excited. I think it was last time I was talking about making all these corn lists, and I primed a whole bunch of corn models right before we got hit with the big freeze for the winter. So rattle canning outside, you could just see like winter slowly creeping over.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, just running like the Monty Python, just running from far away, and it stabs me, and I can't prime outside anymore. But yeah, I did a bunch of priming because, as I said, I am a prolific painter, and you can't slow me down no matter how hard you try. Again, though, sometimes life gets in the way, and I don't paint that fast, so they might just stay primed for a couple of years. We'll see what happens. But yeah, just mostly those, and just always scheming, coming up.
Didn't you tell me you got a 3D printer?
Maybe. Not yet. It actually just got sent out today, so I was. I'll tell you in the path to glory because I didn't play any games. Spoiler alert. So I'm going to talk about a little different path to glory that I have.
There you go.
But I did. Hobbying for me is also finding good deals, and I found a couple of really cool prizes for some events coming up. Had some really good prizes or really good sales going on locally. I know one of the stores in town has a bunch of old boxes, and Eric Old, who we play with, got Catacombs for like $100, which I was just like, man, great deal. Pretty spicy. Sorry, Vint, I should have told you about it, but I didn't know if you could handle having your 18th box. Sorry, it'll be okay. But
Time will mend my heart. It will reassemble with a little glue and love, and maybe a little time. Someday, maybe not today.
Vin, other than turning your whole basement into your very own real life catacombs board, what else have you been hobbying on? Any other fun stuff?
On your hobby notes, that's awesome that you built that terrain. It's some of my favorite too. Do you have it all built or no?
I only bought one box of the platforms one,
Okay.
and I might get like a hab module or two. Ideally, I'm going to use. I did get another good deal on a gun hauler, and I have an Arknaut frigate that I want to kind of make it look like are like being like worked on. Basically, I think maybe get a couple of like the shipping container ones. I feel like those are kind of KO adjacent. If you paint them right, it's all going to look fantasy still, right? So
right.
But yeah, no, it is really, really cool terrain. Very, very playable for Warcry, and really some really just cool aesthetics that they included in there. So, and it's weird because it like I get why I like the Ash Waste and obviously with like the Hab module ones that they do, that makes a lot more sense because you can paint them with like this kind of like deserty kind of vibe. But man, it just like I looked at it, I was like, oh, I didn't even realize this was like originally in the Ash Waste like starter set that they did, but it doesn't need to be in there at all. It's got a ton of utility and obviously, it's very not even like sci-fi. It's just like very industrial, and obviously KO is really the only place you can make that work. Oh shoot!
Well, there are ancient civilizations in Age of Sigmar that were very industrial too. So
just classic, just nails and bolts, guys. That's all they used to do. Just a whole bunch of rivets, and they get into it. I did remind myself also. Of getting a good deal on some Helmsmiths of Hashut stuff. I want to start building some trains. I do want to make a Helmsmiths of Hashut board as well. Put some choo-choos. Thomas, the Hell Engine. Yeah, for sure. So, and actually, I'm glad I waited because they just announced that they're going to do some print to order for one particular set that came from another Necromunda one, I think, right? With all of the little cranes and like the little tractors and stuff like that. So, Hellsmith's affying those, making it another cool little train board. I think, I'm always working. I've always got 15 boards in my back pocket that I'm coming up with to add to the other, whatever number I have already in progress. One day I'll finish one, and it'll be fun.
So
we have evidence that you finished boards coming up.
This is true. One for
No, I love that set specifically for KO because it scales kind of funky for like 40k if you're doing things that aren't like humans, because it's built around like a human Necromunda scale. But if you put KO or Iron Drakes or any of that kind of stuff with like the your basic Duradin, they all like sit on it really nice. The ladders, the ropes, because I have 2 boxes of that original terrain because I love the Ash Waste Nomad models, and I was going to build an army of something of those. Yep. I was like, these are my somethings. I don't know what it is yet, but they are them. So I've proxied them as Eldar, I've proxied them as Chaos Cultists, I've proxied them as Guardsmen. They are.
I love that you're like, one day I'll figure out what to use them for after you've used them for 5 different.
They can have the disease. They could be Nurgle or something too. Nurgle cultists.
I've been collecting them with the intent and purpose. I got the Vespid models as well to make Silent People a warband for them. Been talking to Ricky Smith on and off over the past like 18 months or so about putting it in. So
yeah,
but they're so agreed. All the bits, just every time they release a new. I just got the Dustmite. Hellwings, whatever.
Hellmites? Yep.
Hold on, no, the wings. These guys.
Ashwing Hellmites.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, those guys. Again, I got it on the Black Friday sale.
Deals.
I'd be losing money if I didn't spend any money. But no, I agree. I love all those models. They're so cool. And again, I haven't built that because I'm waiting to get the perfect version of it. So at the same time, I'm sure that's when we'll finish our Ash Waste Nomad conversion and idea projects.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Could be a targeted challenge.
I think. Yeah. So I think I have
how those go.
40 of them built, and I have 6 or 9 of the riders, like the knights.
So you're a bit ahead of me because mine are all still in the box. So they've consolidated into a larger box though, so that all the bits are together.
And you said you were building Vespids?
No, I didn't. Collecting. Preparing. I'm in the planning phase.
On your Vespid note,
What's it? Back in the the main podcast when Eric used to go the story phase. I feel like just like the purchasing and planning phase. The idea phase, the writing it down in your phone and pretending it's going to become.
We leave it more generic. You can put it in a forge. You can put it in Visions of Madness. You can put it
anywhere.
Mike's Bargain Corner, but you have to do it. New segment, Mike's Bargain Corner, but you have to do it like you're Watto from Star Wars in that voice.
There you go.
You bought all my ashways, no man.
Perfect. My Vespids!
Turtles. Only money.
That are like crazy lady. They're so regular wild. Right?
What's it? Was it ants in my eyes? What's his name from Rick and Morty? He just had ants in his eyes and he was giving out great deals. He goes, "Are these great deals? I don't know. I got ants in my eyes, but you come on down." Anyway, Finn, sorry, what did you say you've been working on?
So you have your Vespids you were working on. I am getting ready for Adepticon already for for the 40K
Big
stuff.
Fancy planner over here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I decided I would take some of the stress off of doing it last minute by doing it early, which only added. It just moved the stress earlier, really.
Yeah. And took out all the fun and the ingestion of fumes.
I won't be painting at our event this year, is what I'm trying to say. Likely.
Quitter.
I'm going to lose every game because I'm throwing off my feng shui. I'll just be sitting there thinking about what I should have brought instead. On that note, I built... so I had a project in the works a long time ago with a buddy where I was like, you know what I think is cool about Tau? The suits are whatever, but I can get behind some Tower Shield Pauldrons and like just their basic Fire Warrior infantry I thought were super cool. So I bought a bunch of them, and I had no idea how many I'd bought. The answer is almost 100. So I was like, slick, cool. All right, let's do these, because one of my friends wants to run Tau, and I was like, well, I can play my Crude army that I've been working on since 2 years ago when he was going to go. And now I'm like, well, Crude are good, but they aren't going to do what I need them to do with the model he's playing, because he's going to be playing a Taunar, which is like, he's playing the Mighty Lorn of Khorne on Super Dragon, right? Like, that's what he's got, is like a big 800-point model. So he's got that, and
fun.
yeah, something goofy. And so I have to like
just a weekend ride.
Yeah, and he's like one of my best buds, so I'm like, okay, I've got to score and keep the other army off of you and fight, because you're one guy with the giant cannon can't really fight. He can shoot things, but this edition's a little harder to shoot things with. Anyway, so I have to
It sounds like he's playing like Zap Brannigan from Futurama. He's like he's got all the braggadocio and none of the talent for no skills.
It's super fun because we made him flashcards so he can figure out what he's shooting at people. So as he's playing, he's dealing them out like they're like, and you get a gun, and you get a gun. So it's super fun. He's always fun to play and play with. Yeah, so it's good. But anyway, so I started painting on those, and I got blocked in. So I have to decide on the gun color, but I got everything else done on them. And then obviously clean up after I do the guns. But I did 60 of those last week. And then I did...
Your productivity is just always mind-blowing to me. I just do not have the attention span nor the brush skills to be able to crank it out like you can. I'm always in awe.
My secret is contrast. Actually, guys, I'm going to be real. This was like a struggle. Because I did... So I've been finding these Tau, because I built them when I still worked at GW. And while I was... Yeah, so they're like... They are spread to the wind. I'll open like a box of like... Bestigors, and there will be like 3 Tau Fire Warriors fall out. I'm like,
or a back door in your car.
Yeah, Legit. So you've seen the trunk of my car, Mike. You know they're like the random boxes.
It's really hard to get out of, by the way, but I did find the lever.
Pull the lever, Crunk. I just thought you were probably still back there, dude. But yeah. So I was
recording from the trunk. Like, hey guys, I'm a little squished in tonight.
It's cold. It's cold.
It's like my gas mileage has really tanked lately.
Yeah, it's now like 40 miles to the gallon. What'll I do? So anyway, I was looking for a Mauler Fiend for 40K, and I found 15 or 12 or some, like, it wasn't a full 10 pack of them, and they weren't all 10 the same. But I found them in a box in the back seat of in the trunk of my car. I was like, cool. So more I found a Piranha, which is like their little skimmer craft. I'm like, neat. So found a Piranha. I thought I had 0. I have 2.
I'm just waiting for you to go. Like, I found a Manta, a fully built Manta, right?
Completely
Isn't that the
painted.
biggest model they ever made?
Yeah. Completely painted and magnetized in my trunk.
Yeah, it was. I thought somebody played a prank on me, but they replaced my engine with it, and it still works. It's crazy.
Honestly, Orc Tech. So yeah, I painted those up, but that's not all. Wait, there's more. Since we're TV Lennying. I also built a bunch of Palladors and 20 Vanquishers. So I've been on a Thunder Strike. I've been thunderstruck.
Painting Stormcast? What?
I know. Those aren't painted. They're just built.
Oh.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
welcome to my world.
So you'll like this though, Mike, because I've lost all the instructions for everything from like the older sets. So I'm like,
love it.
I hope these go together. I built my Aquilor with 0 instruction. I built my Palladors 0 instruction, and those models are terrible.
Like head arms. Just...
He's doing the like Luffy the straw hat pose.
And this is an unpaid promotion, but you know there's the subreddit Warhammer instructions where they have a collection of literally every instruction that's ever been made. Yeah.
Have you seen this face? Does it look afraid?
I also haven't seen the models, so maybe there should be some fear in the face.
They're legit. I got there's one Pallador. So the way they're set up is kind of wonky because they came in like the new
ones?
No, these are the old ones.
Okay.
So they came in like a start collecting pack. So there was one big instruction booklet with like hunters and the Aquilor and the Palladors in it. I was gifted some, and I got some on a trade, and I've just been collecting this giant pile of Stormcast.
Found some in the glove box.
I found one in my wheel well, completely unassembled. But yeah, so I have all these Palladors, and I was like, how hard can it be? And I got started, and there's one that's none of them are easy, but there's one that's like specifically very hard. And I just like organized them so all the piles were like all the models were the same. And I think so it took me the same amount of time to build, I think probably 5 Vanquishers as it does for me to build 1 Pallador. And it makes me feral. I'm just so upset. I'm over there just like screaming at the models like, what's wrong with you?
Man, I do want to give you like we should do this as a like instead of one of our challenges, Circle of Paint challenge, we should buy a box of Spirit Hosts and all build it without the instructions and record it and see how it goes. I don't know if you've ever built those, but even with the instructions, it's just kind of make it up as you go.
So I found the secret, and it's accelerant and BSI glue. That's the answer. You're just like you hose the whole model down, and you're like, whatever he has pop marks. Yeah.
You use it on the model. Okay. I was thinking it was a performance enhancer.
Yeah. Then you put BSI glue on it, and you're like, I don't care if this is where you're supposed to go. You're there now.
Yeah. Putting some eye drops in.
Don't advocate bad use.
We're also not saying don't. Your life is your own to live. You can live just like the Lumineth and huff as many rocks as you can find.
Yeah. Get Aether wrecked, brother.
Hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, brother. Speaking of John Cena's last matches, 4 days from recording this. Fun fact, last match ever.
By the time you see this, you'll already know how his career ended. And let me be the first to say, Ah, shoot! I should go back and watch. I missed it. To this day, I will. Sorry, as a last aside before we get too sidetracked, it's too late. But when I made my Spire Tyrants Wrestling Warband, I had the idea and I just forgot to do it beforehand. But to just have an empty base with the name John Cena written on it, because you can't see him. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I think it'd be super cool for the record if we did a build and paint challenge while we were all on. Like we all get a camera and we just show what we're working on, and do like a hobby challenge thing. I did
mine. I actually do. I do live stream a lot of the work that I do. You just have to go to the Adepticon stairwell hallway the night before an event. You'll see me at work.
Come to our events, and you'll see me painting there usually too. Hey, Josh, you got this right. I'm just gonna paint up some Ungors real quick. They're like 1,000 points worth. It's not that bad.
Actually, Vint, I couldn't use your. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. Oh man.
Josh, you been doing anything?
Just laughing, really. But
Okay. Hey, it's a good place to be, brother.
I know. No, unfortunately, I've been less productive than you guys have.
To be clear, I've done almost nothing. I mean, sure, if you've done nothing, it's technically less productive, but it's not. Yeah.
I've got lots of things on the docket, but nothing that I've worked on recently. Not since our last recording. So,
what are you working on next? What are you hoping to? What's on the table?
Well, there's some friends in town are starting up a Trench Crusade League starting in January. So I've got a bunch of the printed stuff.
Can you do me a favor? Grab that knife. You grab that knife out of that right there, bud. Thank you. All right, appreciate it, bud.
It's fine.
So I need to assemble and paint some models for that.
I hope when this actually comes out on YouTube that our screen, because the way that our screens are aligned, I'm in the middle, Josh is on the right, and Vint is on the left. It's very funny if it's completely mixed up from that. No, that's awesome though. That's very exciting. What are you making for it? Because there's some really. Are you using the actual models, or are you going to make your own for it?
No, I've got actual models. Yeah, I had somebody in town 3D print the Iron Sultanate models for me, so I've got that. Wow.
I'm never gonna play this game, but I love looking at just the art because it's just so compelling. And I was talking, and I think it was Dan's Discord today about trying to steal some ideas potentially from their campaign ideas from that game too. So
yep.
I'm report back, soldier. Get out of the trenches and let us know what you find.
Well, I also got those 3D printer files for the catacombs. That somebody had designed for Trench Crusade, but I grabbed them for maybe Trench Crusade, but more for Catacombs Warcry type tables. So my plan is to start getting some of that ready because that will look great.
Between the three of us, Josh and I are the ones talking about Catacombs tonight. Vin hasn't even brought it up. He's just over here doing normal stuff.
He doesn't have to.
That's true. Yeah, he's just into it.
Mentally.
Catacombs speaks for itself.
Yeah, oh, by the way, I saw an old man on a bridge this week, and I pushed him twice until he fell through.
I've been jumping on bridges all week, and I haven't had one break on me. It's super stupid. Oh.
No lava.
No lava. I've been Sparta kicking people onto the ice, and they don't even fall in. Yeah,
they just keep going for.
It's like curling.
0G.
Get it? Yeah, you kick them on the side, get a spin to them on the way.
Yeah.
Well, if you toss them and they bounce, then maybe they'll make a sound as they kind of, like those frozen lakes in Canada. They make an interesting sound when the rocks bounce on them, right? Exactly, right?
No,
that
cool.
Song, yeah.
Let's get rid of the intro. I think I'm ready to sing it myself. Welcome to Bruce.
I can't wait to do the Dogs of Trench Crusade, guys. It's going to be so good. We're so fired. Adam's going to get on the next one and he's going to be like, hey guys, random recording night, huh? Funny seeing you guys here. Congratulations.
Well, that would be a whole different path for us to take, which, whoa, oh, ties right into our next section.
Is it?
Path to Glory.
What?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, talking about the games we've been having. Talking about the fun we've been having with our models and rules and playing. Yeah. I'll go first because I'm already talking and I don't feel like stopping. So, didn't play anything at all. Not one game, not since the last time. But as Josh alluded to earlier, I was playing a different kind of game, the most dangerous game, the game where you pull out your credit card.
The game of potential.
Yeah.
Game of potential.
Tell you what, if a model collection was strictly potential energy and not kinetic energy, I'm sitting on an atomic bomb.
Right.
And for legal reasons, I do mean that metaphorically.
Don't set that off.
No, it is a euphemism for having a lot of stuff and potential. Anyway, no, yeah, I went out and found some good deals, but I did finally commit. This was kind of the year I knew that I'd been doing some research and talked to some people in the game, and I just wanted an easy 3D printer primarily, just so I can do. I guess it is technically hobby. You're right, Josh. I should have done it before, but no, this was my path. What did I call it? Path to purchasing glory. Huzzah!
There you go.
The
There you go.
afloat.
Where's
I'm
the
doing
Watto
my
voice?
part to reduce. I bought a 3D printer. we don't have to worry about selling junk anymore. Just kidding. That's like what it's for. I managed to fix the bulbous paw. But I bought one of the bamboos just because they have a great deal this time of year. So
Nice.
should be arriving pretty soon. But yeah, I'm just excited to be able to use it for events because I just love making custom boards, and this is just a way more cost-effective way.
Yeah,
By the
printing
time I do
trophies.
one event, yeah, exactly. All kinds of fun stuff, right? Like this really, really good tool from a TO perspective to be able to facilitate the playing of games and paths to glory for others. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. Got all the accessories already arrived, and they had it on a back order. So, but it's in the mail. It's coming in. And they're just gonna jam it through the letterbox. But yeah, that's my path to purchasing glory. Vince,
Excellent.
you been playing any games?
So I've got a list of Thunderstrike that I want to try. So that's on my list of things to do. I've been doing
a Warcry list or an AOS list?
Both. Yes is
Okay.
the answer. So the Thunderstrike list is more of a part of a 2,000 point AOS list for Stormcast that I'm working on. You'll be surprised. Vanguard.
Yep.
A ton of Paladors. Exactly. Lord Aquilars.
Paladors, whatever Vint glues them to be,
Yeah.
that's what they come out at.
Well, I'm like, God, these have
Counts as Palador.
these are derivatives. So one of them has an axe and the other one has a spear, and I know they're like 10 feet away from me. I couldn't tell you which one I built, but I definitely built them that way.
It's weird. This one they clearly sent with 5 legs, but this one only has 3. I don't get it.
Yeah. Chaos corrupted.
Right?
That's it. Yeah, just a sprinkle of each.
Yeah, I've been watching. I watched the new Black Talon episode. Those are so good. It's so like Turnus. They did a great job with that. Anyway, not to side tangent more than we already did between John Cena
Isn't that
and
our victory
Turnus.
condition tonight?
I think that is.
This should
Jesus.
not ever talk about our main comment.
Yes. Anyway, so Path to Glory, games I've gotten in. This will be shocking for you guys. I've been doing a fair amount of teaching games. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
finally deciding to give back to the community.
None of them have been Warcry, unfortunately, but I've been doing a couple 40K teaching games, which is good because, right, I'm practicing and trying to find things out that work for 1,000 points of 40K.
I love it. I love that you're framing it as like, yeah, I'm trying to find the stuff that works against people who have no idea how to play the game. Yeah, it turns out a lot of these lists rule. They are killing it.
Oh no! So it's like here are 2 lists, so you don't have to buy anything. Here's this other list. Let me help you play it. So it feels a little less like I'm playing solitaire at home.
It's you in Ghost helping
Yeah,
do the pottery,
Here
but
you
you're
go.
just like
Roll the
point it
dice.
over there.
I mean, it's quantified a lot of good things to learn though. Like looking at what I think I'll see. Right? Like it's just to get into the Matrix. To quote my friend Oliver Smith, I've got the Matrix in my mind. He was real faded at a team tournament and said that, and we got second, and his pairings were immaculate. So I trust in a lot of things, but Oliver's mind matrix is a real one.
Yeah. OMM.
Yeah, for real. Oliver mind matrix. Let's go. Next time I do an event, that's going to be one of the things. The OMM.
Mm-hmm.
Be there, be square. No, the. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, doing a lot of teaching of that. Doing a lot of like kill team stuff. They had a big rules update, so I've been playing around with that.
Oh yeah.
I think I either
40K just got new stuff today.
Today,
right?
yeah. At time of recording, today all their stuff came through. You'll be happy to know.
Good news for you? Bad news?
News. So
news, yeah.
Yeah, news. So those Tau I was talking about that I have a bunch of, all of them went down in points between 10 or 15 or 10 or 5 points each for a 10-man.
Need 50 more, huh?
I was gonna say, you better check the back seat, buddy, because you're gonna need
more. They also down cost. Like there's a wacky world where I play one of my buddy who has the big model. I might play his other big model, and if that happens, that went down I think 80 points or something crazy, or 60 points. So there's like huge adjustments for stuff that sucks, and I play a lot of that. So
then this is you've fallen into one of the classic Games Workshop pitfalls. They're just going to change the points on you, buddy. If you painted all the night before, you don't have to worry about changing the list. Come on, think with your head.
It's so true. Well, and like the chaos stuff, like one of the lists that I'm looking at is like a chaos weirdness, and that was good. I got to I've gotten a lot of games. We've done a lot of them have been 40K. The balance for kill team, I think I missed a balanced data slate for my ratlings. I just wasn't paying attention. So they had nerfed them, and then they took away the nerf, and so they went back to the original way I was playing them, which is like
nice. Which you didn't change anyway.
No, it was like a big change for them because they're very slow. They cheat movement every turn. So like at the end of your turn, I get to move.
Here we go again. I can't believe Vince excited about a warband that cheats. Wow, here's the surprise.
Where's the lie? And they're short, just like me. What are you talking about? I mean, really tall, like me?
Yeah, I painted this one to have glasses, just like me.
This one's got a monocle. You can call it a telescope, but I know it's a monocle. But yeah, that's been it. It's I got to try out a new game store. I went up to Portage, Wisconsin, and played at Green Dragon. It was a really cool game store. The people were super
the
nice.
Subtitles caught that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just follow the subtitles. It was a Green Dragon.
Brand new game store in Portage, Wisconsin. I think I could Google that.
They have like a separate room for Warhammer, and they have like 4 tables worth of terrain, and they have 2 tables to play on. So
that's pretty cool.
It was, and they had like a Magic event that day, but like we could have probably fit like a 6 to 10 person Warcry tournament there, pretty easy.
Nice.
So I was like, this is cool. The event space in general is like, or like the gaming space in general is pretty separated, and the store is really long, so they have a lot of space in general. The selection, I really should know their name because I'm like, hey, go here, this random place in Portage, Wisconsin. I think when I Googled it.
You go down a couple of alleyways and it's right there.
The Domino's is in its back parking lot. It's awesome.
If you hit the dumpster, you've gone too far. It's also too late. You can't get away.
But yeah, so it was super cool. The stock and selection was crazy. If you have a person in your world that's into crystals, that's the other thing they sell. Oh. So if you're into
damn it, Marie, they're called minerals.
Zinch.
Yes.
Totally a Zinch store.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've even got magic there. So it's got to be Perfidious Chaos Sorcery.
Yep.
We need to move on super fast.
That was looking bad.
The intrusive thoughts. Nope, moving on.
If you're only listening, you're missing out on the experience that you get from YouTube, where I just did 2 pretty mind-blowing magic tricks with just my fingers.
Well,
And some
we'll
magic,
save
of
a
course.
5-minute slot the next Warcry tournament. Mike's magic moments.
I'm going to need to learn more tricks because I've exhausted my roster of them.
This is brutal, guys. I can't keep it together for this. We need to move on.
Josh, you played any games?
Yeah, Josh.
I have. Since our last recording, I got a couple games in with the league. Eric's running. A lot of good times. Alex, who's been busy working, he was able to pop in, so we just played a straight 1,000-point game and not a league game. But I was playing my Eskurgan. He was playing some Chorus Cities, and had a great game.
Out.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was also after the FAQ, so I was missing that double onslaught. I did do the healing though. I mean, okay, well, it helped. It helped. So
hey, if you can't use it for anything else, you might as well just choose not to die.
Exactly. So, but yeah, some fun games. And,
other than obviously missing the onslaught pretty desperately, how did you feel like it was impacting the game? Because obviously that's we talked about it last time. Pretty big changes for how a lot of stuff plays.
Right.
How did you feel?
I mean, overall, I think the biggest thing is Alex got like a couple. I kept getting doubles and stuff, but he had a quad or 2, and couldn't use it because his warband wasn't down by half yet. So it did kind of come into play in a few of those circumstances where you had to use it for a triple.
That's not true. Cities of Sigmar, if it's regular, they can do the what is it called, Heroes All or something like that, which is basically you choose a non-hero model and they get +2 attacks and +2 strength or something like that. So he was just he was holding out on you. He could have done something fun.
Well, no, he might have. He couldn't do. The
classic.
Right, exactly. The classic.
But that's cool if he actually got to use that, because before it was just like, I'll never use this ability ever, and now it's cool if you're using it because it's a super cool thematic ability, right? You just take you take a big dumb steel helm and you go, I guess I'm gonna charge in, kill you, and then he bashes a skull and you go, told you, buddy, I told you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he had some good doubles, triples, a little buff on Ogre for attacks. The standard gets in there, some extra movement, and that was a good game. Yeah, just kind of eked out a win. It was we had to claim certain objectives, but you had to we got to remove objectives periodically, and so so you had to. I was able to choose the one that made him have to come a little closer, and so
nice.
That's good.
Just imagine Josh has that move in real life too. He just turns down the heat a little bit. Oh, it's a bit chilly in here. I guess you'll have to come a little closer. Yeah, sorry. If we haven't mentioned this before on the podcast, if it's never come up, Josh is a serial killer.
Watch out, Cheerios.
He kills us. He kills us, Mike.
Repeatedly, to death.
Over and over and over again. It's only been, 8 years of this, Josh? 16 years, Josh? No, it's not that. I think it is, truly 5, 6?
Yeah. But it feels like a lifetime, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
The more games you play, the longer it feels. Yeah.
My losing streak is what we're talking about, yeah. Because it is getting longer. It is.
You've got a prize that says you're a winner.
I do have a prize. It comes up later, so that's a little teaser.
Right.
Well, you've piqued my interest. You know what? Let's get a little closer to it. Let's move on. Let's get past all this nonsense. We got these stars in our eyes. This path to glory. Give up on your dreams. It's never going to happen. We're moving on with our lives. What's next? What are we doing?
Well, now that we are looking forward, I think we can jump into the victory condition. I was gonna say the visions of madness instead.
Say it. Whoa!
I scrolled too fast, guys.
Now you're talking.
Visions of madness. Any news, gentlemen? We're doing
I don't-
so
I
good.
don't think we
filming
have.
this from the dentist's office, all full of laughing gas tonight.
Right.
We've all had a bunch of teeth removed in the last 30 minutes.
I feel like we should go back and listen to like a 2020.
Just caffeine. Just
Yeah.
caffeine.
We should do a 2020 read through when I was like very, very serious, and we were like, we're gonna be very serious, and then like listen to this, do like a watch back, like of some early episodes. We can just pick on Eric Oakland. How funny would that be? Josh is always the GOAT, is what we need to know. Vision of
We're
Madness.
slowly just eroding the core of everything that's happening. Look, you guys invited me on. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to listen anymore. These guys are really reaching. That's how you know things got bad. They're like, hey, do you want to come on? And I was like, yikes, they are desperate. Man, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh, the mighty. Yes, that's us. Mighty.
Right.
I will. So I always like to try to shout out new and exciting things that are going on. And give me just a second here. Hey, does anybody want to stall for like 30 seconds? Real
Yeah.
quick?
So
Starting now.
Well, there's a tournament coming up in January 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's running it up in Minnesota. Supposed to be a great one. I'm unfortunately not able to go, but I know several people in our Warcry group are planning on going. So
Yeah,
Who's all
I'm planning
going?
on being there. I think Ben's thinking of going as well.
Yep.
Zach's usually a 50-50 on those.
yeah, and
ones.
Alex
I
said
think
that he
he's
was
thinking
interested
about
as well.
it. Cool.
Let me look.
So
I might be able to go to this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sunny
side
Moston
note.
town.
I'm tentatively planning a February event. I'll know more once the 3D printer arrives and I can kind of determine the terrain. I've been torn on a couple of things, but I'm hoping kind of like mid to late February, probably. I forget I did pick a weekend and I don't have it handy, but
Okay.
hoping to do an Ushuran themed event that I think will be
Ooh.
a good amount of fun. I'm still trying to debate if I want it to be kind of like a classic Mad Cry, or if I want to get real silly and narrative with it and make it kind of a more deeply narrative driven event. I'll probably lean more Mad Cry, and then maybe for an Adepticon or a bigger scale, I might be able to run it as a more silly narrative event too. But if you're near Madison, it's coming up end of February, not the weekend of Valentine's Day, because that is always a disaster, and I know
It's a
better than to
bad
try to-
idea. Yeah.
yeah, and that's my birthday weekend, and I'm always just like, why doesn't everybody want to hang out with me? And they're like, I'm going to hang out with my wife. And I'm like, yikes, dude. Yikes, you're missing out. Weak sauce. No, okay, so I did find it. So another podcast I did, a year and a half ago, something like that, was Three Heroes, One Chaff. A couple of the guys that I used to work on that with, Rob and Kyle, they just started a new one. It's not specific to Warcry, but they are just kind of talking about more kind of competitively based content, some kill team, that kind of stuff. If you're interested in it, it's called Competitive Urge. They just released their first episode this week. I
Nice.
think it's only on Spotify right now. Again, Competitive Urge. I'm looking at it on my phone. I've listened to the first 5 minutes of it or so I can't comment on the quality of it. But it's all there. It's those two plus another guy from that's like deep into the kill team scene. I think in like the Northeast area. I don't know, he said his name's the King of the North, and he didn't sound like he was bragging. He just kind of said it very matter of factly. So I think it's And again, I've talked to Rob on the side and things like that about it, and it sounds like another guy that's just a really good person to listen to. So if you're looking for new content and stuff like that, something else to check out, I think it's a neat one to listen to. And again, just Kyle and Rob obviously have a pretty deep Warcry background, so it kind of blends in a lot of the time. But yeah, if you need another hour of listening, there's another option out there for you as well. So check them out.
Sweet.
Can confirm
you.
it's not on YouTube, and when you Google it, you're going to find a bunch of weird stuff. So,
Competitive, yeah. Ew.
I had a Joe Rogan podcast,
Okay.
Pure Tide, which is like a cool Tau
Okay.
podcast that I've been listening to,
Okay.
and then Mass Firings for some other company.
Okay. All right. Well,
So-
maybe try the Warcry Discord as an outlet to find that link then.
Yeah.
Just search Spotify. I think it's only in Spotify, so don't go searching for anything with videos yet. They're not videos yet.
Yes.
Not
Gotcha.
happening.
Gotcha.
I don't Spotify,
All
so
right,
I have to
all
find
right.
a way.
Same. No, I only had a link. You know what? I'll throw it in. I'll post it. I'll share it in our Warcry Discord. Or, sorry, in our Warcry channel on the
Mortal Realms
Discord. How do I get there, by the way, Josh? I can never remember if I'm trying to find it. Where should I go?
We'll save that for the end, but it's themortalrealms.com/Discord.
ABP, baby. Always be plugging. Always plugging.
I saw your magic tricks. I don't doubt that.
This is... Nope. It's...
No.
Never mind. I was trying to make a different country socket.
You're trying to do like the moving the thumb one. Okay.
Oh, my nose.
Right.
This one, Josh, are you talking about?
Yes, yeah, that's better. He's definitely a professional. With that, we'll move on to the circle
Do you
of
want
pain.
to watch the champagne cork disappear? All right.
If those weren't visions of madness, I don't know what was.
Let's circle the wagons and get back on track. Josh, what do you want to talk about?
So with the circle of paint challenge, last time we kind of talked about a variety of topics, and then after we stopped recording, I think we decided.
I won. I think we all said that I won, right? That's just what I remember.
No, not yet.
So anyway, for the last one, though. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, go on, Josh.
No. But we did decide that we were going to paint a model from the new Warhammer Quest Darkwater box. So we'll leave it up to people, whether it's Nurgle, individual model, hero, whatever you guys want. But we're gonna once we get the boxes.
Damn Kelpie you've ever seen.
Get it?
I think that's a realistic paint goal for myself.
You can even keep that one to last minute, even.
Yeah.
And still not get it done.
Oh. What did you say to me? How dare you so accurately describe my life to my face in front of all 20 viewers?
I know. All 6 of you, we're so proud you're still here. Thank you.
You might not be. Yeah, if you... Sorry if you skipped ahead to this part.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the other parts. It's
Keep
worse.
going. You got about another 5-ish minutes before we get to what you want to listen to.
Right. But yes, once we get the boxes, then at that point, I think we will have to decide what model we're going to paint. Or do we just want to say we're going to have a model and then paint in secret? What do you guys think?
I think, I think we can, if we want to do it secret, I'm okay with that. But I just don't know quite which model I want to do. I know I want to do one of the
I guess it's just more, do we want to, publicly say this is the model I'm painting, or do you want to wait till you're inspired and then paint a model and then say, okay, yeah, this is what I've got?
Yeah, if we're waiting till we're inspiration for me comes right before the deadline. So.
Okay, all right.
So I'll be done next week, and Mike will get started sometime in October of next year.
And we'll definitely have to set some deadlines.
Yeah.
Maybe periodic check-ins.
Mm-hmm. Updates.
The buddy system,
we should do updates.
Yeah. I think
where we take pictures or bring it online.
Ooh. Well, I've been working on my grayscale, so.
Next time we film, Mike is all in black and white, and he's like, yeah, I don't know how to fix my camera, but he's pretty well painted.
Boy, you guys are missing out. I've somehow turned on the negative version of my camera. And it's still gray. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to get the box. Mine should be shipping any minute now. It comes out this Saturday, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep. Yeah, so
I think
ship
by the
out
time
to
this comes out. Yeah, boxes should be out there. So, Josh, did you get yours ordered?
I did, yep. So hopefully sometime next week we'll get it. But
cool. Yeah, I'm excited to build those models. Josh and I actually got the chance to play a round of the game not too long ago and had a good time. I think we're still hoping to kind of get together and do a little chat about how that went. But yeah, looking forward to getting to play it. It was a fun game to play, and I'm excited to try to justify all the models.
Models are great.
Yeah.
I think if you could justify all the models, it'd be quite the win. Kind of like our next topic.
Bum, bum, bum.
Welcome
Victory condition.
Victory condition.
Wow.
So the moment you have been waiting for. We not have just one event for you tonight. We will be discussing two events that we ran at Mortal Realms Con. And we are going to start with some background. So I'm going to share my screen, and you'll see the magic.
Oh, more magic?
More magic. Yes. And we will start. We'll have to move that there.
I miscued that so bad like 3 times.
That's okay. Something hurts in my ear. What? Oh, it's a Burt's Bees.
My goodness.
Sorry, I had a Burt's Bees in my ear. You know how it goes. Josh, what do you got going on?
It just keeps coming. All right. So many people may have recalled in the February 2024 White Dwarf 497, put the reference down there. He's a good scientist. We always put references. But they had this image in here in the short narrative text of Moscairn. Rolling hills of Moscairn studded with grave sites for those who fought and died to keep Ghyran from falling from chaos. Dank, moody place with mist, fog. Unprincipled thieves have sought grave goods and perished. So it was very, everybody was really intrigued about this because it was kind of just mentioned. Really cool picture here with obviously some GW terrain, some modeling, and then nothing else.
No.
You know,
not entire. Well, are you going to get to the other part that was us?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, there was the sprinklings, the legalese, the language that came out where we discovered that there was a TM labeled Moscairn, and everybody went, "Hey, what the heck is that? That sounds kind of neat." And this was before the second edition of Underworlds came out, so like maybe it's an Underworlds trademark, but like that got debunked because they've never had to do it before. Like they've never trademarked any of like the Warcry or the Underworlds boxes before. So it's still to this day a mystery. And we just said, whatever, dude, that's ours now.
We're gonna take it. Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna run with it.
Plant our Mortal Realms banner that if you ever come to Mortal Realms events, you'll see it's pretty neat, pretty cool, cool.
So we decided we are gonna play in this playground and make it our own. Mm-hmm. And so you can see in this page, the bottom half is the narrative that we drew up for this particular event. Did one of you want to read that? You want me to continue with it?
Go, yeah, I can't see it well enough, so
hit me, Josh.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe I need to blow it up some more. Oh, wow.
That's huge. Oh, my God.
All right, yeah, it gets a little tricky here. Let me widen this screen here.
Oh. Hang on.
Yes.
Yeah. Doing my magic tricks for it.
All right, so we decided to take this and make it our own. We said Moscairn is a place with life and death magic intertwined, and there's a nexus point where the energy coalesces over a period of time, usually over a year. The Mega Gargants found out about it in their youth when wrestling in the area. One fell into the ball of magic. It was then they discovered that combined soul, life, magic healed them of wounds and diseases, and also made them younger. Obviously, they scrapped for a while and stopped and agreed that they would return every year and see who could claim the power. They would travel the realms and accumulate followers and trophies. The one who returned with the most renown that year would claim the power. And this directly feeds into how we designed the event. So we had 4 of our intrepid, network individuals created Mega Gargants. This one might be familiar to many people. Paul created this model, this Mega Gargant, a couple years ago, based after the Spider King. Was mentioned in the Gargant's book. And what we did is
they released art for the Spider King. Paul has made a whole new Spider King, and now this is just a regular Spider Gargant.
right. Yes, right. So obviously Mike created a Mega Gargant. Joe created a Mega Gargant. Will, and I didn't have one, so I just borrowed Paul's and ran with it in terms of theme. So we're going to show the 4 different Mega Gargants. They were our lords, and people would have to choose which one they represented in the 4 different games that we were playing, in the Warcry competitive event, the Warcry narrative event, in the Path to Story event, and in
Underworlds and Spearhead.
Thank you. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then we each designed it differently in terms of what benefit you would get in that particular game and award points. And at the end, we kind of tallied everything, and we would see who won. So in terms of themes, we all created some extensive backstory, but I created some TLA-DRs just so that you get a flavor. So, for example, Monroll.Raw was the one I kind of designed. He's a fused Mega Gargant with a Skitterstrand Arachnarok spider who ended up is now a prophet for the spider god, sharing wisdom, gaining followers, and keeping the Evercrawl strong and resistant to Nagash. Now we have Wills. He went with King Olrog. He's a Mega Gargant which fell to the delusion of the towering court of Flesh Eater courts and now leads them to find a god beast to tame. I'll let Mike do this guy.
Oh. Hey, if you think that picture's kind of hard to see, check this out. Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you might be able to see what's going on here. So this is old Blue Ball. Blue Ball is a Mega Gargant who, through some mysterious manner, ended up getting a Caradron. What's the name of the engines? What's the ball called, Josh? I can never remember.
Endrins.
Just an Endrin.
Endrins.
Got an Endrin.
Yep.
Got an Endrin stuck on his head. And then, unbeknownst to others, there is a Gabo who is basically extorting and exploiting this
Earbenda.
Yeah, he's good old Earbenda is putting some chemicals and keeping him fed and stuff like that, but basically keeping this Gargant in some sort of hallucinatory state and pretending to share the wisdom of this Gargant that no others could possibly understand other than him. So he has a following. People follow him around and they ask questions of Earbenda, and Earbenda obviously forwards those along for a nominal fee or a not so nominal fee to Blue Ball, and then Blue Ball mutters inside and then Earbenda lets him know. He says, I guess he's got to hang around it's like a Magic 8-Ball kind of situation. And then they put little different, I can't really see it in the picture, I don't think, but there's like little like tattoos and stuff all over him that the followers kind of put on there too. So, and then he's also just got, again, you can see in the picture there, he's just got the rest of a KO ship as the head of his Warhammer. Keeps them all safe and they have a great time. So.
Yeah, there's a little Earbenda at the top there.
Yeah, that's the Smirk Sour Tongue model. He's just like slurping on some juice, sucking down some goo, getting after it. It was a very fun model to make.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and here's Joe's Kanamhan.
Tunak, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, thank you.
So he was my favorite. So Tunak is a Mega Gargant who escaped from the Oziak Bone Reapers and is now working to win his freedom from his old master, Exortes.
Excellent.
And for this one, Joe had built this one custom too, and he used what's the OBR? The guy with the dude on his crotch. Do you remember him? It's like the War Machine dude. Used that for a base.
Yep. I don't remember the name. I know. Anyway. I think I know what model you're talking about, but I don't remember the name. Yeah.
But he used a combination of that and then the new Bone Dragon from the Old World, and made that really cool conversion for it too. It looked really awesome, and we had them all displayed on a table with their backstories, like their more in-depth backstories, so that anybody that didn't decide beforehand could come in and make their commitment to their greater being the day of for any of the events that they wanted to run. Or sorry, events that we're playing in. Yeah, they can't just show up and run an event. We don't care. There's no rules.
Yeah,
we look like
and
the
we
police?
all incorporated it differently. Like, for example, Mike let people see what the benefits were before people chose, and I made people pick based on the narrative or their favorite model, and then they figured out what benefits they would get. So we all kind of did it a little differently too, which was fun. But
yeah, it was really cool to have the same overarching kind of idea, and then to have it kind of everybody get their own way to express that too. And I think we're probably going to run something similar for next year's Motor Realms Con. We haven't actually done any of the planning yet, but I think we're all pretty happy with it, and it's a very fun kind of like theme and idea to get behind to kind of create those shared moments. So hopefully, if you can make it next year, come by.
Yeah, and the idea was that based on the number of points that each Mega Gargant earned, that they were going to have a 4-way scrap, and the number of points that they had would give them abilities or things that they could use. So we still need to do that. We still need to scrap it out to get the winner. But Mono Ra
okay.
definitely got the most. Got the
Just
most.
for the sake of simplicity, old blue ball can be the winner. I accept. I want to thank the Academy. I want to thank the parents.
I forgot who your champion was. I know it was me and I think it was either Preston or Cody for Kanokan Kanamans, for Tunak Tunaktoon, for Joe's guy, the bone giant. I think it was just us two that were playing for him. But we both scored.
That's right.
Yeah, we both scored a ton of Cody, points, I think, that way.
Yeah, Cody supported Monroe.Ra, I think, because he did it for both days. Yep.
And you could have, that was a nice thing. If you played in 2 different events over the 2 different days, if you wanted to switch, you could. Just if you like it, if you wore bids into something else, right, you can get that narrative kind of flair to it and choose how you wanted to play, which was really fun.
Yeah, thought it was fun. But let's start with Mad Cry 3, Medlin in Mosscairn.
Medlin in Mosscairn. Come on down, Medal, Mosscairn. You know what to do. So this one followed up with nice. Vince, that was a tasty riff. That lick was it's still ringing in my ears.
That air guitar rolling.
Not your ears so much because they're full of Burt's Beeswax.
Yeah. Whoa, hang on a second. You might be wrong. That's better. I hope again in the final version of this, I'm very, very narrow in my screen right now. I do hope you could have seen the whole thing just then where my magic happens. Anyway, so this was kind of similar to the other Mad Cry events that I've run. Followed the same kind of structure where it is technically like a classic competitive tournament when it has 4 rounds using Swiss pairings to create the matchups each round. And then we also have the 2 side quests, which is where a lot of that flair and flavor comes from. So let me pull it up real quick. In the past, I think I've done a bad job of actually reading all of the fun things that we've written for these. So I'm going to read a couple little things for this one, just because that's what we're here for, right? We're the narrative Warcry kind of podcast where we talk about a lot of that stuff. So just to start here is come and discover the long lost magical items in Mosscairn. Life and death magic swirl around this place, but the danger they pose is nothing compared to the riches and relics that can be found. There also seems to be a gathering of 4 large individuals and their followers. What's going on? Those are the Gargants. So again, none of this is terribly exciting. This just all kind of talks about what we're doing here. But I will go over the awards here. I always like to just make fun names for the awards. So the event winner, whoever was kind of like the overall winner, was called the Master of the Moss. Then whoever got voted for favorite warband was the Breathtaking Relic. And then one of the side quests, you got to be the voice of the Gargant. And then the other side quest, you got to be Tomb Raider. So the first one we had here is the Gargant's Feud, and I'll read through this one here. So each year, the 4 Gargants, Kanakan, Kanaman, Monroe.Ra, King Ulreg, and Blue Ball return to see who has earned the most renown and followers, and to prove who is the most worthy to claim the magics that heal them and nourish their souls for the mysterious magics of Mosscairns that year. Pledge yourself to the Gargant of your choice and help them gather all the reputation that you can. So with this one, you were choosing a fighter in your warband to basically be committed to one of the Gargants, and based on that, you would get a special ability kind of dedicated to, based on what the powers kind of were from that Gargant. So if you chose, I'm just going to call him Kanakan, you got Bone Shard Spray. All enemy fighters within 3 inches of this fighter take D3 damage. You roll separately for each. These were all doubles. Sorry, I should have clarified that. And only the one fighter that you chose got to use these. So if you chose Monroe.Ra, you got the Form of the Spider. Until the end of this fighter's activation, the fighter's move characteristic becomes 8 inches, and they do not count vertical distance while they're climbing. Devotee of King Ulreg, you got Training for the God Beast. Until the end of this fighter's activation, add 1 to the attacks and strength characteristic of melee attack actions made by this fighter. The targeted enemy fighter with either a wounds characteristic of 15 or more, or the hero rune mark. And then, if you chose the correct answer and you're a devotee of Blue Ball, obviously the best one, I'm not biased, you get to roll a number of dice equal to the value of this ability. For each roll over 5 up, you may add 1 wild dice to your set of wild dice, and in addition to that, choose another ability you currently have and roll a d6, and you may change the value of that ability to the value of this roll. So I really tried to theme these around, what the lore was for a lot of these, right? Blue Ball is kind of like this mystic fortune teller kind of guy, so we're playing with wild dice for changing abilities. King Ulreg, he was literally trying to kill a god beast in the lore. So it's like, all right, we're going to be better at fighting. You're working and being better at fighting powerful things. Manuel that Rod, the spider, obviously moving 8 inches, 8 legs. Nice, well done, me. And then obviously not worrying about vertical distance. And then the bone shard spray from Kanakan was made of bones. It's a cool thing to be able to do. So then there's just kind of a scoring system here. Every time you use your ability, every time you take down a certain fighter or parts of the mission, if you're participating in the mission, essentially you could get some additional stuff. And then if you end on the highest point to declare your domination at the end of the battle, and then also if you take down the enemy devotee, then you would get points for that too. So you just kind of track those, and whoever had the highest score from all of those at the end was the winner. I think people had a lot of fun playing with the abilities for these, and that was what I was hoping for. I wanted to make them compelling, I wanted to make them interesting, and just something fun to do for it. So, and I think we were mostly successful. The other side quest was Moscairn's Treasures. So Moscairn holds many secrets and mysteries, ancient battles left behind a wealth of treasures that can be easily obtained if you can find them. The growth resulting from the rampant life magic has made it nearly impossible to find such precious items. Luckily, the taint of death magic has seeped into the surrounding growth and can make it easier to find items of interest, provided you know what you're looking for. The purple death energy within tainted growth contrasts clearly compared to the healthy growth nearby. Seek out the purple growths and collect as many relics as you can, but remember, treasures are no good if you're dead. Unless you're Death, Grand Alliance, but we don't count that. So essentially, before the game, you would kind of roll off and you would pick a few different areas, like terrain on the battlefield, where you would put these purple tops. I had literal purple tops that you could use, and you would place them on the terrain, and you would move near them. And then, as you were near to those things, you could search for relics. And so, to do that, you would move close to it within 3 inch. Or sorry, within 1 inch, and if there's no enemy fighters within 3 inches, you have to be kind of by yourself. You got to work hard. You don't want to get distracted. You would roll a d6. On a 1, the fighter would only find disappointment. On a 2 to 5, the fighter would find a relic, and on a 6, the fighter would discover d3 relics. And so basically, you're trying to collect as many of these as you can, and then you could only we kind of played it similar to treasures, except not really at all. It's just like you just collect them, and that fighter is carrying as many as they've kind of been able to pull out. But you would only score for any relics that friendly fighters were holding that weren't taken down. So if you were holding 10 relics and you got killed, you don't get to score that, unfortunately. So whoever got the highest of all of those was the winner. So this is kind of, it feels that kind of classic terrain. I try to have something, with a fighter in list building, and then I try to have like a gameplay version of it where, one of the side quests is enticing you to play a little bit differently. So, did you guys want to talk about, Josh, you didn't end up playing, I don't think, right? But Vint,
Right. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vint, do you want to talk about real quick your experiences with those side quests at all? Anything you remember with them?
Yeah, I started off being like, I'm really gonna go for these relics, right? I'm gonna get so many relics because side quests are my jam. And right away I did okay, but I think like there were a couple people who had like 30 or 40 right out of the gate. Like people were just like, cool, here's 4 fighters on this thing, and we are going to mine over and over and over again. So I was like, well, I guess that means I'm going to have to pivot a little bit. I was also playing Twistweld before any of the buffs. So that was a battle all by itself. It was tricky. So a lot of it was like, if I don't try and kill them, half their warband wipes out all of mine. If I do try and kill them, I might kill half of theirs. I had the Ikelian Thrallmaster as an ally, and he was cool. Um, and he just kind of walked around and played whack-a-mole if he was left uncontested. But as soon as you contested him or most of the stuff in my list, it just died. So my leader and
I'm gonna lay down for a little while.
yeah, so it was a tough because I said like on the podcast, I said I would play the team that I had painted for our Circle of Paint challenge.
Yep.
Looking at other people here,
They look great.
they turned out pretty good. I did some kit bashing because I was like, well, I can't just let them be normal. I know.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Sorry, go on.
You broke him. You broke him.
Peak content. So awful. All right. There's also a couple teams that had like very specific build things that really helped them achieve the secondary missions. So whereas normally that's like kind of a play space where I'm like, cool, like I'm not here to try and take this down. I'm just gonna goof around and do this play space. For this event, there was a lot of people playing in that play space where they're like, yeah, cool. So I'm gonna get like 30 relics and a top guy and beat you. And I'm like, as Twistweld, I should have an answer to one of those things. I don't. Let's try and win the game. So it was fun. I got to play Preston, who's one of my oldest friends. I got to play Zach, and that game was super tight. And I killed, oh gosh, it's not Scylla Eska, it's the evil Sinesh person.
Oh.
Vexmore?
Yeah, I killed a Vexmore.
Yeah, nice.
With Twist Weld, so I was like, take that feather, put it right in the hat here. Because I had Tunok burst attack, and I had burst attacks from my guys, and whatever they were going to die if they fought her anyway. So it was just like, my whole team bursts onto Vexmore and gets rid of it.
Yeah, I think that might have been Patrick, right, from Milwaukee. I think that was
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. Yeah, he had the
Slanesh demons, I think. Yeah.
So there was
with all those super cool proxies too.
Yeah. So I got to play that Vexmore. I got to play Zach. I got to play. I think I played Vexmore twice with Twist Meld.
Did we play then? Because I think I was the only other Vexmore wielder.
Because yours got pinned. You got pinned in the back.
That does sound right.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like Yep.
So it was super fun. I just knew right away. I was like, I don't know with these lists and with this list that I'll be able to do the thing. On top of that, like they're not super fast, so getting them into I'm the tallest position wasn't really going to happen. And like, hey, I need them to do things because half of my team just got rinsed by this like 8 wound fighter with a 2-1. I don't know what happened. So
Vin walks into the kindergarten and gets beat up.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll get him. That's not what happened. There were parts of the warband that I felt pretty okay with by the end of the games, but I was like, eventually you just run aground, right? Like, this ship doesn't go farther in any direction. Where I was like, I can fix him, I can make it work. It just was not true. The game itself, the maps were super cool. I took a bunch of pictures.
I got a couple that I'll share here. Just after I'll go through the missions as well, but I'll show you what they look like.
The
tables are nice.
We talk about this a lot, but like the big thing when I've played really well in like AOS or 40K tournaments, you get towards the top and everybody's super nice, and you get to the bottom and you're like an 80-20. Most of them are not going to care, and they're going to be super nice and have fun, and it's going to be a good game. But like this stuff for Warcry, like again, after the first match, I guess I was like, I'm going to try and do well. I don't know about win the whole thing, but I'll try and do above average or do well. And like just try the normal like win it missions, and I think I went 3-1 or 2-2 with Twist Weld, and it was close every game. So I was like, that feels pretty awesome. But at no point was I like, this game sucks and I'm having a bad time with this opponent. I was like, this is pretty cool. I think Patrick rinsed me. Because Patrick,
he was crushing. He was doing real well.
He lost to somebody I beat, and then, or no, I beat Patrick.
Cody.
I thought I beat Patrick, and then I lost to Cody. So there is no undefeated person, I think, for your event.
Correct. Yeah. No,
so I beat Patrick.
The tiebreakers.
Yeah. So it came down. I think strength of schedule or something weird, right? Or glory.
Yeah, I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. Actually, you know what? If only we had all the rules right in front of us. What did I say? Strength of schedule to break ties. Yep.
Yeah.
So strength of schedule mattered. So who you beat.
Yeah.
And
so I think
the field, and you were one of them. So.
Yeah. Yep. So it was good. It was a super fun event. The boards were super cool. But that is a theme you'll hear about again later on for the day too.
All right, let me run through the missions real quick. I won't go through them in too much detail. If you want to look at these, they are still on War Tally, wartally.com. Trolls is awesome, runs it, great dude. Just you can see every event that's upcoming or every event that has happened. Really nice. You go in there and you can see all of literally this pack that I'm kind of sharing here too. So I was super proud of this mission. This is one I made up from scratch, basically. I will read through the whole thing just because I do think it is kind of interesting. I won't read through all the other ones, but this one's called Struggle of Life and Death. Life and Death. Moscairn is in a constant state of war between life and death magics, trying to navigate the fluctuations between the two while overcoming your enemies. So, before the deployments that players roll off, the winner chooses a quadrant to be imbued with life or death magic. The other player then chooses 2 quadrants to be imbued with life or death magic, and then finally the player that won the roll-off chooses the final quadrant, and if it will be imbued with life or death magic. So basically, you're choosing of the 4 quadrants of the board. You're going to choose, maybe it's all going to be life, maybe it's all going to be death. Just gives each player an opportunity to choose what they want it to be. And why that's important is because those are going to flip every single round. So if in round 1 something is going to be life magic imbued, then in round 2 it's going to be death magic. Round 3 it's going to be life. Round 4 it's going to be death. And again, why that's compelling and interesting is because the scoring for this mission is entirely dependent on what's going on in that quadrant. So at the end of each round, you score 3 VP for each life quadrant, which you have more models wholly within it than your opponent. So if you just have more life in that quadrant, then you score for that. And then in the death quadrants, you score 2 VP each time you take down an enemy fighter. So, if you're creating death in death quadrants, then you're scoring. So if you control a death quadrant, you don't actually get anything. And if you kill stuff in a life quadrant, you don't actually get anything. However, the next turn, it's going to flip. This was a design I kind of came up with and was, again, pretty proud of it. And I think most people really enjoyed it. It's a very dynamic mission. There's a lot to track. And one thing I also was pretty proud of in this event was I had little token bags for every table that had, I talked about the purple moss that you had to put down. For this one, I had literal markers that said life or death to put on each quadrant, so it was easy to track and remember, so you didn't have to forget about it. And actually, just as a recommendation going forward, something I just bought that I'm going to be using a lot because I really did like these tokens. I bought some dry erase little tokens. You can get them on Amazon pretty cheap. But I just think it's a really nice thing to help track a lot of the stuff that is a little bit harder to remember for like narrative missions. It's easy to track like injuries and stuff like that, or if they have an artifact or something. Just those visual cues that I think just make it way easier to utilize a lot of that stuff too. So but yeah, I really enjoyed making this mission, and I think most of the feedback from it was pretty good. And it was just a new idea, and it's, if you like creating missions, it's a great format to use. If you just have quadrants that score differently, I think that's just a really interesting place to be. The second mission was called Hallowed Ground. Shout out to the book. Shout out to Chris Hyde, who hates this book, makes me laugh every time. That's why I think part of why I did it again, just to I know he listens, so just a stick in his craw. But just the narrative flavor for this one was, now that you're starting to understand this strange place, harness the energy and use your foes to channel power, slay them and channel their essence into the fonts of death energy. So this is a mission I think that Cody had created originally. So if you kill something, you become tainted, and then you count as extra scoring on objectives. Just again, a kind of a neat twist on a classic style of mission, but we're just doing a little bit of different things to keep it fresh. Third mission was Cursed Relics. So many treasures, all ripe for the taking. Snatch as many as you can before the enemy gets their greedy hands on them. Surely there is nothing to worry about in exhuming these relics from their burial sites. So this was, I tried to fix, they've had it in the original core book. There's Cursed Relic, and then they made, I forget, they made another one where you like, similar kind of thing where the treasure is doing damage to you. I tried my hand in it. I've tried to fix this mission a couple of times. I put a whole bunch of Cursed Relics out there, and then made it so each time you make you do an action or a reaction, you take a damage point. So you're slowly, kind of being drained. And then treasure missions can get kind of tricky because it can be hard to extract the treasure from an enemy who's holding it. And so I wanted to try it out with kind of an auto take. So if you kill something that's holding it and you're within an inch, you just automatically pick it up if you want to. So just, again, kind of an interesting riff on a classic treasure mission. And again, I think it was relatively well received, and just something fun and interesting to do with that awesome, coat of paint over the top that fits the mission as well. And then the last one here is the Ire of Nagash. Oh no, your actions have angered Nagash, and there are still enemies to contend with. See if you can fend off the aspect of Nagash while keeping your enemies at bay. So with this one, this is, I tried to update Goreworm, and I learned this was still not the version of this mission that I think is the best version to use. But Goreworm is a mission where originally you'd have 3 points, and I think you can see my cursor on the screen, maybe not, but across the long axis of the board where the 2 green points are, and in the center you would place tokens, and every time, and basically there's a hypothetical worm that would pop up on one of those. Every time you attack it, it would teleport to a new one and do damage when it came out. The randomness of that just made it really hard to play, and so for this one I tried to make it a little more fair and just feel a little more even. So it would rotate. So at the beginning of the mission, somebody would pick where the worm would start, and the other person would pick how it would rotate each round. So maybe, Josh and I are playing each other. If he picked the top objective to be where it is in round 1, if I choose clockwise, then it would be at the right objective in round 2. And so everybody's trying to fight and kill it. And do as much damage to it as you possibly can. So with this one, it was fun too, because I made it a literal aspect of Nagash. I printed out these little Nagash standees, and that helped so you could track where the aspect of Nagash was. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it was just just like little things, these things you can really add to the game, and it's literally a printed out piece of paper that I taped to be round so it would fit on these objectives. So it just adds a little more immersion to the missions and that kind of stuff too. So but again, I think I learned from this one a little bit more about another kind of pivot that I would do for just tallying total wounds over the course of the game. It gets out of hand in a hurry. So if you want advice on this mission, let me know, hit me up, because I can share with my next iteration of it would be where I think it's more of a match play mission. But either way, it was just a fun, have Nagash floating, an aspect of Nagash floating around that you could bash his head in and try to kill the entire time. So, so that was my pack. Those were my missions. I think, like I said, I think people had a good time. Let me pull up the board super quick.
They were great looking boards.
I appreciate it. Unfortunately, coincidentally, Cody, again, who's been on the podcast before, made a custom board for this. It was very Stonehenge related. And in my just like busy day of the event, brain not working, he was like, "Oh, do you want me to set one up?" And I was like, no, it's totally fine. Even though he made this custom board for the whole event, I felt so bad. And then halfway through, I was like, "Oh, you need to set that up. Like, what am I doing? What am I talking about here?" So yeah, entertaining for me. Sorry, Cody. Again, I know I apologized to him in the past, but whoops, sorry. But hang on a second here. I think I got it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so these were the boards. Here they come. Okay, so this was the board that we ended up getting rid of just because it didn't make any sense. But this is my radicalism board. We've got the null holes and the just kind of the city. You can't really see, maybe you can see it here. There's a little rat chilling up on top up here, and there's little rats jumping and all that kind of stuff too. So and then just the moss that it was this bag of moss that I had that I thought was way more to scale, but we just sprinkled it on all of the boards for fun. wasn't a part of the missions. It was just, hey, if it gets in the way, move it. It's just meant to be there for flavor. So
right.
And you can see Underworlds partying up on the stage up there, having their good time. So that was one of the boards. This was the one I talked about last time. This is the spider web board. If you can't tell based on all the spider webs. This is the null hole, not the null hole, sorry, the maw pit that I didn't have the spider in this time, but I do have a spider that you can add in that makes this look like it's a big funnel web. All the bridges obviously covered in some cobwebs and things like that. So that was pretty. This was a board that I made brand new for this event and finally built and painted my first ever Blood Hunt board for an event. Of the 6 boxes that I have, obviously. This one is a combination of the original starter set as well as some of the graveyard terrain from, brain is completely blanking right now.
Gardens of War.
Yeah, yep. That's the old name. What did they call it in
Signorite Mausoleum.
Yep. Nope, it's another name. You're both correct and still wrong somehow.
No, we talked about it in our terrain episode.
Time-worn ruins.
Nope, still not it. Nope. Oh man, it's gonna bug me like crazy. Anyway, but I also I don't think
use your magic tricks. You'll figure it out.
This I bought a couple of mats. I can't remember where I bought them from now either. But this was one of the custom mats. Not custom, but
Mausoleum.
Corpse Wreck Mausoleum. That's it. Thank you. This was like a cool graveyard mat that I'd ordered that I think worked really well, especially like the hue, the colors, just kind of felt like it fit with Moss Cairn. Then this was another one that Cody had put together. So put a little bit more of the Corpse Rack terrain in here for graveyardy stuff. And then this is some of the Gondor terrain that has really good playability for Warcry as well. A lot of the Lord of the Rings stuff is a little bit awkward in Warcry just because the scale is a bit different. But if you leave it open like this, it's totally fine and works really well. So, and just that white stone looks beautiful. I think this was another mat, brand new mat that I had for it as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice one.
And then this one, this is the Kazumi Temple, and we just kind of made some closed off structures with it, but there's like all of these are magnetized. So you can make all kinds of basically catacombs style maps, single edges, but we made some platforms and things like that for this one too. So, and again, this is another brand new mat, I think, as well. It's not the most exciting board, but it did play actually really interestingly. So, but yeah, so those were the boards. And again, I apologize. Cody had the really awesome. It looked so good. I'm very sad that I don't have a picture of it. Go to the tournament on January 10th, and he'll probably have it there. You might get to play on it. It'll look great. Yeah, that Stonehenge board looks fantastic. Very playable too. So yeah. All right.
So what you? So what were the prizes that you handed out for the event?
Oh man, you know what? This is the hazards of 3 months ago running the event and now talking about it. So
you couldn't remember. I know you had one for the side quest, one for the main, but I didn't know if couldn't remember how many you had.
Yeah, there were some. I think because we had a whole bunch of really great prize support. Aaron provided it, and then there were some additional ones that just kind of brought up. What were they?
Should be in your pack, right?
I don't think I had the names, but I didn't have the actual prizes. I do remember.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, just the prize names. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So we had the Voice
Yeah.
of the Gargant, Tomb Raider, Breathtaking Relic, and then Master of the Moss. So I do remember some
Right.
of them.
Right.
The Voice
Yeah.
of
No,
the
that's what I was more interested
Gargant.
in. Is, what were
Yeah.
they called? Yeah, because
No, but I
they're
do.
thematic. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I do try to have very specific prizes for the side quests in particular, just because I feel like it's cool to have like, hey, you've just done this whole narrative kind of piece, right? So I do remember the Voice of the Gargant. I had Mug Mugruck Dawacha, the collectible, one of the custom ones, the Cruel Boys. Um, Shaman, basically with the big rock on her head, and it was just kind of like came out and was like, well, the Gargants have seen what you can do and they need to continue to watch to ensure that you do a good job, right? So that was that one. Man, I don't remember what I had for the Tomb Raider one. Was it KO again? Something? Man, I don't remember who won it now either. I'm gonna have to go back. I feel so disappointed in myself. What am I? Oh no. Okay, I remember now. It was Pyregeist, because you've been raiding all of these tombs, and so you were doomed to an eternal damnation in hell. Because that's
Nice.
literally the Pyregeist lore, and that's right. Jim won that one. The lore for the Pyregeist is literally they like some of them were like raiding tombs and stuff like that, and the Gash found out, didn't like it, and so he just doomed them to so it was like whatever your warband was, now they're
Right.
eventually it's like looking into the future, you're gonna be Pyre Guy. So again, really on theme, kind of built into the lore and that kind of stuff too. So so that's what those ones were. That's all me though. Yeah.
Well, so you mentioned, one takeaway in terms of like modifying the last mission, but what other things did you, what kind of feedback you get, or like you ran it because you ended up having to play in it, obviously. Anything else that you took away from it that you would change for next time or keep doing because it worked really well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the core structure and function of what a lot of the Mad Cries do, I'm pretty happy with. Just it works pretty well. The missions I'm always trying to tweak. I just want to make them better.
Right.
I think I kind of ran out of a little bit of creative juice for my side quests for this one. I wasn't super thrilled, particularly with the Tomb Raider one, where you're just kind of collecting those relics and stuff like that. I don't like to rely fully on like randomness. I know I tapered the randomness and kind of had it a little bit structured, but it doesn't feel good when it's like, hey, I did, hypothetically with that one, if you and I, Josh, both tried to claim relics 10 times, you just roll better than I did, then you just get more than I do. And that to me, I don't love that as a mechanic. So, for me, I wasn't super thrilled with that one. But I also just I ran out of time. I was like, man, I gotta get this pack. I think I really stopped less than a week before, which I was also okay with, because it's like, it's kind of a more, yes, there's some competitive aspects to this, but it's still kind of a more narrative-y event for Mortal Realms Con. So, but yeah, I think those are the main ones. Overall, though, I think everybody seemed to have a good time. Just a good group of folks that we've don't always get to see. Yeah, like Patrick was able to come in from Milwaukee. Jim always wants to try to get a game in. It just doesn't work because we never play on weekends, and it was finally a weekend, so we could get him to come in as well. Preston was awesome having there. Vin, I appreciate you continuing to bug him and forcing him to come and play against his will.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Trying the whole time this time. It seemed like he enjoyed part of it.
Oh,
so.
Not even on Sunday when he came back for more.
Yeah, he was so pumped. He had so much fun, guys.
So if you can come, hopefully we try to make it a good time. Pretty much everybody that plays Warcry is just fun to play with, and they're a great time. So if you can come through, we're still doing it. Come by. We're getting into some mischief, Moss Karen or otherwise.
Exactly.
We're meddling.
No, it looked great. I was bummed I couldn't play in it, but I had another obligation that night. But I heard good things.
The way she goes, so be it.
But it did give me some more time to prep for my event, so that was good.
I was bummed.
Finished last minute painting.
You got to do the second day, and I was like, man, I would give anything to be doing tomorrow's event instead of today's event. That whole extra day, that's like 90% of my work time.
At night.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, yeah. So obviously for this particular Mortal Realms Con, we tried to have a competitive war cry and a narrative war cry. It was tricky. I got to the point where I had lots of different ideas, and it took me a long time to like just pick a way. So it was actually my wife and
job, I think, because you kind of built this from scratch for your event, right? Like me, like I'm kind of basing mine more generally off of a tournament structure, right? It is still, broadly it's a tournament, and then I just sprinkled some extra pieces in, and I've done it multiple times already, so it's easier to just go, hey, twist the dials, we can put it out. But you were just like, hey, let me make something completely brand new, which way harder, and a lot more effort and work has to go into it.
Right, yeah. I did borrow concepts from the deep narrative I ran at Adepticon a few years ago. And obviously we're in the Muscairn, so I was like, okay, we should totally do some sort of tomb delving. So it was called the Tombs of Dharma, and I was inspired and influenced by, of course, a lot of people played Skyrim. There's lots of tombs that you're delving in there. So I eventually like, okay, this is the theme I'm going to go with. Now I need some boards, and then the idea was that it was going to be a semi-cooperative event where people would have to work together for the end objective, but everybody was still trying to get the most points for their own, lord, and you still got points for taking out other players. So we ended up with a lot more conflict in this particular run, which is hilarious.
We put the semi-cooperative.
Semi-cooperative.
So much death. So much death.
But yeah, so I've got some sheets together where I'll kind of walk through everything, and I was planning to try and attach it to the video later. Sweet. So that people could reference it or use parts of it for their own, whatever. So I'll go ahead and share that again. Yeah. All right. As I kind of mentioned before, that I made people choose their lord based on their background and or whatever model they liked first. But in general, I made sure that each person got a heroic trait that was semi-defensive, and then got a artifact that was offensive. And so, in that sense, they were somewhat balanced in terms of didn't matter which one you chose, but try to choose it thematically, and then that way people couldn't game it based on whatever models they got.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I like that too, Josh. The way you made it blind so that you're choosing, especially because it was a narrative event, you're choosing based on the thing that you're compelled with story wise, and then hey, oh cool, I got this stuff from my decision, right? It's just very, very classic kind of narrative style of play.
Yeah, and it was funny because one of the participants completely chose Monrold At-Ra because it sounded Egyptian, and he just watched The Mummy the day before. So it was totally random narrative, whatever whatever reason you want, it works.
I didn't know that, actually. That's very funny.
It was hilarious because Joe's model is very Egyptian looking, but he didn't necessarily look at the models, but he liked the name, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that one. So I kind of read these just because people who might listen to it and not necessarily watch the video. The heroic trait for Monrold At-Ra, the prophet of the spider god, was spidey senses. A spider god has bestowed extraordinary senses which allow you to avoid danger. And in this case, he got to reduce the number of attacks by 1. Melee attack actions from that targeted him. His major artifact was a poison fang. It's fashioned from an Ragnarok fang. And essentially, it made it so you always hit on a 3-up. So the strength characteristic is made by this fighter counts as being higher than the target's toughness. So kind of a fun way to make it easier to hit without being, overly complicated. Mm-hmm. For Will's model, obviously, it's a Mega Gargant at the Flesh Eater Court. So we had some more, or as you might imagine, ghoul-like abilities. His heroic trait was voracious appetite. The hunger would make the Summer King proud. Once per battle round, when you've taken a model out of action, you may take a bonus action to feast upon its flesh and gain D6 wounds. And then the artifact was a Pendant of Delusion. Once per battle round, when the bearer of this artifact uses a melee attack action, reduce the target fighter's available actions by 1. So, and that, unfortunately, nobody in my event chose King Allrog. He was the only one that got no points. But had they chosen him, there's some good stuff there. There's some good stuff there.
No, there's some serious play in there.
And for Blue Ball, the heroic trait was that tickles. You drink Earbendis potion and nothing hurts as much as it used to. This model adds 10 to its wounds characteristic. Additionally, once per battle round, choose an enemy model. For every attack action made by that fighter, you may reduce one critical hit to a normal hit. This is kind of again based on the lore that Mike wrote for the model.
Fun fact, I was the only person that played Blue Ball for this one, and I forgot about that critical hit thing the entire time.
That's a bummer.
Drank a little too much potion, if you know what I mean.
Right. And the major artifact was Bombs of Lethargy. So Earbenda was making these potions, of course, and once per battle round, you could take a bonus ranged attack action, hit an enemy model within 6 inches, and then that fighter and any fighter, not just enemy models, within 1 inch loses 1 attack from their next attack action to a minimum of 1. Hopefully you took advantage of that. But
just a couple times. I splashed.
And of course, Nokan, we've got the heroic trait is life absorption. When any fighter is taken down within 3 inches, your model heals D3 wounds. And so it could make it interesting for all the scrums that we were having.
I do hate that you wrote slurp on that one.
Yeah. You gain the ability to absorb the essence of life. Slurp. And then the major artifact was Wand of Bones. Magical femur channels Shaiish to shower your enemy with splinters of bone. Once per battle round, you may use this artifact as a bonus ranged attack action with the following stats. A range of 6 inches, 2 attacks, strength 3, and a damage 2/4. So I know that people were using that one quite a bit.
Splashing it around.
Right. So this next page kind of illustrates. I had 4 boards that looked like this. And so the idea was that we had tomb delvers from a variety of places in the Moss Cairn. Where the blue arrows are on the top board indicated kind of catacomb style, where half of everybody's warband, or roughly 500 points, was entering the board. So they just kind of entered in that corner and eventually would have to make their way to this center area where there's this crystal. There's a variety of, you can see, kind of stacks of sarcophagi with different bones and other things in it. And once they got here, it would trigger the spawning of 3 different, white characters, some swords, shields, and whatnot. And then they would have to fight these models, and then it would open the door into this main chamber where a white king would spawn and could continually spawn additional enemies. And then once he was defeated, he would drop an artifact that was needed to wake the overall Arch King. And it would open up. The puzzle door had to be opened with some dice rolling to, over time. And somebody could kind of steal it, per se. Throughout the event, you would earn points, victory, glory, essentially based on certain models you killed, like the White King, by solving the puzzle door, by taking down other models. We also had a variety of artifacts that you could randomly generate by searching the sarcophagi. Whenever you took out a white model, it would drop a healing stone. So you'd have like a minor potion, kind of heal D3 wounds. So because this is a kind of continuous event where models that died, and this is something we changed later, would come on 2 turns later from these particular areas and could come in from these side passages to kind of make moving around the boards faster. Additionally, the crystal in the center here could allow you to teleport to another board, the crystal. So you could move from one board to another easily, but you still had to go through the puzzle door to reach the main central chamber where all 4 boards fed in. So this kind of setup kind of encouraged, some interplay in this particular area where warbands would have to decide, like, okay, there's some enemies have spawned. Do I fight them or do I fight my adversary? Who is now in this particular area. And of course, we had lots of people would pop up and move to the crystal and then teleport to another board and start scrumming with other people. So there's lots of board to board action, which was absolutely hilarious. And once the game had gotten starting in the third turn, we essentially had the rest of the warband show up as reinforcements, catacomb style, where they could come on from any entrance point, one model at a time. And so some people would bunch up, other people would kind of put it on a completely new board to try and search things or steal objectives. And you had a lot of fun, interesting interactions that way. But yeah, once they came on, so you can see these pile of bones as well could be searched throughout. And once they were searched, they were done. It was a one and done sort of situation. So kind of just talking about this board, I guess both you, Mike and Vint, played in this event. What did you guys think about this particular board format?
I thought it was super fun. I liked that it was just catacombs adjacent enough. I mean, so it was very cool that way, where you're like kind of playing in a maze. There was lots of line of sight blocking, which I thought was cool. So you weren't just like, and I move 8 inches and I move 3 inches, or I move 4 inches and I'm into this person. You're like measuring around your guys and somebody else's team. There was a lot of politicking, which I thought was fun. Hey, I won't do this if you do this, or hey, we should team up on him, or hey, we should do whatever. I thought it was really fun. I liked the board layout quite a bit. That was super good.
Yeah, I agree. It was, and I don't know if you mentioned it, Josh. Sorry, I can't remember if you said it or not. But the black, if you're watching the video, you can see the pictures of it. But the black parts are negative space, so like that is not a place where you could walk or interact or anything like that. It's basically the walls of catacombs that are blocked off, so you could only walk on the gray spaces. So like you said, it created these kind of like dynamics, and sometimes you put a big stupid stormcast in the way accidentally and nobody can get through to go to the door. Little things like that happen, and created both intentional and unintentionally entertaining and funny moments to play through. But yeah, it was really cool, and having them just having 4 identical boards kind of playing simultaneously with very different things happening on them was pretty entertaining too, because we got wacky, we got silly. I don't know if you're going to cover this or not, Josh, but we ran 2 hours longer than everybody else with the last people to wrap up, and that was with a very concerted effort towards the back end of what we were doing to go, oh, well, Cody's got a 4-hour drive home, and it's Sunday night, and everybody else is leaving, and we haven't even unlocked the final boss yet. Let's maybe put a little more intentionality in it. But it was fun because, those first 8 hours where we were just, scrapping it out and backstabbing, it was very entertaining. It was a very fun way to play, to just constantly like, oh, you killed my guy? Well, now I get to redeploy him 2 days or two turns later, and guess what? My tiny little egg grot is going to take down one of the biggest models on the board, or at least he's going to try to. Did he? That's not important. He's going to try to. That's what's important. But it lended itself to so many really just like memorable, silly, fun, narrative moments where it was Warcry's rule set, but playing in a way that was just so asynchronized from what a regular game looks like, even though we're doing all the same stuff, but like it gave so much space to live and explore and do the fun things, because the fun things were the right thing to do. It was incentivized really, really well, and the boards facilitated that with the teleportation and all that kind of stuff too. And the rules that you had in there for unlocking the door incentivized the backstabbing and also the negotiation of just like, hey, let me get in there, I might be able to do it. And then it was really cool. I thought it was a brilliant idea, and it was executed really well, other than the players not doing a good job of moving forward through the story. But outside of that, I think
but as long as you were having fun, right?
So Mike has brought this up a few times. When he says players, that doesn't include me, because I actually did the missions, right? So when it came to door unlocking, I think I did like 3 of the 4. Yeah. And how many bosses died at Stormcast hands? I think like 2 or 3. I might have blocked a few of them, but
Hey, Vin, what did you do at Mortal Realms Con? Oh, I unlocked a couple of doors. Wow, sounds like a blast.
Killed a bunch of White Kings because you guys were too busy. There was like, at one point, there were 4 players in like, you can see in the area. So around one of those stones, all the way to the door. And there was 3 or 4 of the armies there. And I was like, but the doors? And they're like, we'll kill each other and then we'll get to it. And then we get to the end and they're like, oh God, we're all almost dead and we've lost all our relics and now we got to fight this boss. But thankfully we were all tuned up by that point. I think I made it. I only lost 3 guys until we got to the end, but I was the Tunok guy, so I was healing every time somebody died around me. So like the egg grots would get blasted by a White King, and I'd be like, I guess I heal and go kill the White King. So like there was, I was like, good enough. So there was a lot of that. I mean, I don't think I killed any of your stuff, Mike, but I definitely killed a lot of Preston's stuff.
I don't think any of my guys died ever. No, they're pretty unstoppable.
No, but for real, I think I don't think I killed any egg grots. I think
you did.
Did I?
You turned a couple times. You were just like, I gotta kill this guy.
He's in the way. Yeah.
There was some conflict at the doors occasionally.
Yeah. The Griffhound. Didn't the Griffhound get like literally like I think it was 3 doors out of the 8 we had. Yeah.
Turns out these doors did not require thumbs.
Yes. He was like, Quark, and then just opens up. Perfect. And then Egg Grot got one, right? There's another like creature that got one.
No, I think I was working on a door, and then somebody betrayed me and opened it before I could.
Yes. So I think it was Cody.
Yeah,
might have been Cody.
Yeah, it sounds like something scumbag Cody would do.
Trying to vie for that influence, trying to get that influence and see what you can take it.
Yeah, I mean that part, like without tipping our hand too much for the next part of it, this part was super fun. It was cool to loot stuff. It was cool. Mm-hmm. Somebody was on my board and I killed them off of it. And then they went and joined the scrum. It wasn't you. You had like an egg grot on there, and you fought. I think it was Cody. And I just jumped Cody with everything, and then the other stuff.
Or Preston, maybe Preston had, or maybe he was on another board. I think, yeah.
Preston was on another board fighting with the cities guy.
Yep.
With Alex,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And they literally, I think, stayed fighting the entire time.
Yeah, that was a full on traffic jam gridlock on that.
Yeah.
And we just kept piling stuff in. I think my egg grot was trying to take down the Ogre Warhawk, and I almost hit him a couple of times. Yep. Couldn't do it, but then I thought it was very funny every time he'd kill it and be like, all right, let's move on. Somebody else would come in there and I would just send the egg grot back over.
Right back over. Yeah.
Back in there. So, yeah. Guess what? I don't learn lessons, pal.
And just to clarify for listeners in terms of, so it was Warcry rules, as Mike said, but so we would roll for initiative and then that person would activate a model. Didn't matter what board it was on. Then it would go to the next person. They would activate a model. Didn't matter what board it was on. And so while we had turns, but it was just based on activations. And then when everybody had finished activating all their models, at that point we would move to the next turn, and reinforcements might come on and everything else like that. But as you said, it's kind of a continuous event. And then if your leader was taken out of action, you could resurrect it with friendly models around it, and you would come back with a certain number of wounds, depending on how many models were around him at the time. And so your leaders never really died and had to come back. They just had to kind of get healed and brought back up again. But the rest of the models would have to come back on from one of these areas here, and then it could move through, and enter the main board again.
That Warhawk had to come.
Mechanic was. Sorry, go ahead, man.
That Warhawk had to come back like a dozen times. There's like one little dude.
With a couple of wounds.
Warhawk stands back up, kills like 2 more fighters.
I loved that mechanic of being able to deploy on any of the boards too, because it really did just make it made 4 completely unique stories for each board, right? Like again, there was the board that nothing ever happened on, and we're like, and that was the last door that got open because we were like, oh yeah, that's right. We're supposed to progress the story, and you couldn't. And I'm sure you'll cover it, Josh, but you had to open all the doors to get to the boss. You had to, just kind of the way it worked. And that's why we played till 8 p.m. or whatever it was on Sunday.
That wasn't quite that late.
All right.
We started at 11 and we finished, I think, like 7:30. Yeah. So I'll move to the next board here. So this was the center board that all other boards fed into. And for those that can't see, there's essentially 4 kind of L-shaped stacks of very tall catacombs with different sarcophagi bodies and whatnot. In the very center is a taller sarcophagus where the High King was buried. On the four corners on the outsides, this is kind of where the doors led in from the four different boards. And then there were these pedestals in which you had to place a relic that fell from the White King on the previous board. So you had to kill the White King, and anybody could pick up that particular relic that he dropped. So that was another thing that gave you influence. And sometimes people would like, oh, I killed it. And somebody else would go grab it and then run towards the door and take off.
And those
and then
were
once,
literal, like, that wasn't just like, oh, hey, you got a token, or, this is a piece of paper that says you got a relic. You use, like, literal beads that you would feed onto this, like, actual mounting of it.
Right.
It was, like, this was, like, a very tangible and playable experience, which is such a cool little addition, especially again for the narrative side of it. It was just like, it was annoying because I kept knocking my bead off and forgetting where it went for the guy that was carrying it. But again, it was just so satisfying because you had to put it on the pedestal and it slotted on. I was like, yeah, great, that felt awesome.
Yeah, slotted on a clear plastic spike, so it looked like it was floating in the basin of the pedestal. So that I borrowed those again from the deep narrative because I loved making them. I was like, yes, we're going to use them again. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was such a cool little piece.
Yeah, and so once all four relics are placed in the pedestals, then the White King would wake up, the High King. And this was fun because after everybody had gotten the doors open, there were just bodies just continuously piling into this board, trying to take down the High King and the stuff he was spawning. And he kept moving around, and it's like people were like, "Oh, I was so close!" And they're running across the board to try and get close to it again.
One of the abilities you gave him that I think was brilliant, especially because it's this pylon mechanic. The High King would activate, I think it was 3 times per round.
Yep.
And obviously we're just shuffling in. And so instead of getting in a position where we're in this kind of like this lockstep of he can't move anywhere because he's got 40 dudes around him, you had it so he had this like push ability. So he would basically do like an AoE blast and shove everybody back 3 inches. And then he would also have an action. And so it let him push everybody and then move. And it was just, it made a situation that in typical Warcry would have been very stagnant, and it's just, all right, stand here and whack. It made it way more dynamic, and I think it added so much to that fight instead of just being like, all right, who can get in there, who can find him. That's not entertaining, or it's not nearly as entertaining as, hey, he's shoving you off, you're taking damage, you're losing guys because of this, and then he's also kind of moving the battle a little bit too. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that piece of it. I think that was a brilliant bit of design that really did make the whole battle better.
Yeah, and that's to bring that point up is the White Kings had 2 actions or 2 activations. It was kind of like monsters, what they would do an action, then a player would do an action, then they would do an action. And so we did the same thing with the High King, but it had 3, and they each had a ability that they could do for free, like summon something if there were not enough allies around, or in this case, if there were a lot of enemies around the High King, he would do the blast ability, and then like certainly could do a free ability as well as attack, and had a ranged attack as well as a melee attack, just to allow for flexibility in his attack actions. But
yeah, and I mean, like, he hit super hard. I think I lost 3 Stormcast up till that point, and I lost 4 in this battle. Like, 4 of my big dudes just got aced by this thing because I got in the doors first, and I was like, cool, let's go fight this guy. And as I like walk in and trigger him, he's like, enjoy dudes and me. And I was like, uh-oh. So I think by the end I had 2 guys. My leader my leader was alive because I had a Stormcast next to him, but I lost so many dudes. I think I lost 4 dudes in that fight.
Yeah, I was targeting the closest one, and you just kept being the closest after he moved, and you're like, uh-oh, here he comes again.
Well, now with that, he'd kill people, right? He would shove people off, he would kill stuff, and then you would get into like your refresh phase where you're out for 2 rounds and you come back in. So like on all of those other boards that we looked at, there would just be this constant stream of dudes slowly moving back towards to get to that center board because they had to move from the outside boards to the inside board. And so, it was like, all right, go ahead and activate on the main board and then just, all right, move the dudes for this turn. They're all just kind of double moving anyway. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and the High King had a heal ability where if he killed a model, he got D6 wounds back, and he had 200 wounds to start with. So it was going to take a while. So, and whoever caused the most damage to him over the course of the game would have the influence reward for taking him down. Or there's two different the first two, but he could heal up, and then you're like, oh, we got to get him down again.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, didn't Preston win that?
He did, yeah. I thought I had it in hand because I was absolutely bashing his skull in, and then Preston's like, "Oh, I got, I don't know, 82," and I was like, "When?"
Yeah. No, it was like 100 or something. It was crazy. Yeah.
Well,
it was some crazy numbers.
He had this. What was happening was I had Stormcast, and you had a couple models, Mike, and we were like walling him off. So he'd kill like an Eggrot, a Stormcast, or a Gryph-hound, and then Preston would be like, all of my guys throw hatchets.
Yep.
And then all of us have these extra attacks, and he'd just send his guys in to die. And he had so many they're all slow. So by the time we had like wounded him, so there were less guys coming, and we had tied up all of his chaff.
Yep.
And Preston was like, and my whole army goes into him. I lose 3 guys.
Yeah.
Oh no, big deal. Here comes more damage, and he would just like his dice got super hot, and he just murked that like it was just crazy damage.
Yeah, he got his berserker in there and his leader. Yep. Yeah, he was doing a lot.
He just beat it to death. I think by the time I freed up anybody, he was just like there was just blood like soaked all the way up his guy's arms, like he's just melting him.
Yeah, so again, I'm not going to read through all this stuff in detail, but it's more to share for people who are going to look at this later. But the main thing was again awarding influence, and instead of glory, you kind of got influence because you're trying to earn influence for your Mega Gargant Lord. That's what they're comparing at the end, and so we kind of handed out tokens for each influence, and you got influence for getting triples and quads. You got influence for taking down a model. You got more influence for taking out the White King, the High King, puzzle doors, having the artifact. And then you could also try to bribe your fellow mates with influence. You could say, "Hey, I'll give you 3 if you let me, pass through here and do this or whatever else." And we didn't have a whole lot of that. It was mostly just, "I'm gonna make my path. You're in the way.
Yeah,
we're gonna take you out."
It was more, "I'm gonna get my influence from murdering your body dead, and then
right, exactly.
You're in my way. Allow me to alleviate this problem for myself."
And again, I won't go into detail, but there's lots of board rules in terms of what happened for how you do the puzzle door, how what the White King could do once you were in that particular room, what sort of loot you got, and it just kind of made things easier. So we got to certain areas where I could easily reference something or share something with the group, and they would know what they needed to do. And again, you can kind of see a attack priority in terms of the wild fighters kind of randomization rules, but simpler, so that you could just say, okay, this is easy. He moves that way. He'll do this attack. He'll do that attack. I think this is just an example of
Josh to have you kind of there as a GM essentially, right? Like you're kind of managing what was going on with it, especially to start, just because it was complex to a degree, and there was just a lot to try to figure out as we're going through it, and we're trying to manage a warband. So I think having the one person that was kind of operating a lot of that stuff made a huge difference in functionality for it, and just made it run way smoother, instead of us also trying to learn the rules at the beginning of it, because we're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine trying to have played in that and running all the puzzle pieces, getting the NPCs out and all that. Yeah, no, definitely would have been crazy. But so some of the most of the artifacts are just kind of minor healing sorts of effects, but we had some variety of having moss or some extra attacks or something moves you a little faster, because there were so many things you could search that we just kind of made it random, but each board had a certain combination of things so that you wouldn't always get the exact same kind of thing. So, but it added, again, finding some minor artifacts along the way that could help you out, help your leader heal when you needed to, and whatnot. Besides getting the healing potion, the little bit of moss from whites that you take down. All right, well, this one I'll have to just. This is just an example of the cards. I went to Warcrier. They've got a nice little card generator, and essentially I just took the barrel guards with sword, shield, or two-handed weapons. Didn't change those at all. Just use those straight from the GW Warcry profile. But the White King, gave it a little extra, 40 hit points instead. And again, here the White King had 4 actions for the High King. And they could do summoning, free action. We'll summon 3 barrel guard, randomized type whenever there are fewer than 2 remaining. And then the life stealer ability. Every time the model takes an enemy model down, it heals D6 wounds, and it dropped the crown of the protector, which was a minor artifact, which helped whoever had it do extra damage against the High King and take less damage from the High King. So that's something that people didn't know until they picked it up, and I gave them a little card that said what it did. So people didn't know to fight for it necessarily. And then here's the High King profile where you got 4 actions.
These cards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Real quick. Sorry for these cards on here. It's from Baz, aka Barry Shepard. If you search for the Warcry card creator 3.5, that's where you can find all of these to create them. It's kind of tucked away. I think you can get to it from Warcry, but you can just create
that's where I usually get to it.
Too. They're so helpful. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. No, because there's a link in Warcry that takes you to it, and I had forgotten that it was somebody else who had made it, and it was just a link to that. So definitely want to give credit where it's due.
Everybody works together. That's the cool thing. Everybody kind of collaborates and shares all that stuff too. But
and you can change profiles, you can import profiles, and you can import backgrounds or use a wide range of backgrounds that the person already has there, which is what this is. That's kind of fun. So here's the High King. Again, I modified the stats a little bit. Lots of wounds, 4 actions, extra abilities, including the Eldritch Wave is the blast attack that Mike had mentioned. We could push models away and they take damage. And of course, you had the Life Stealer and summoning abilities as well. But these are I'll kind of share this with the video presentation, and I've got, of course, files or whatever else. If people are interested, they can always reach out to dogsofwarcry@gmail.com or come to our Discord. But were there any other thoughts that you had, Fint?
I won an award.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Noctoon's big champion, so I earned the most points for him. And a lot of it, I think, was the doors and killing the bosses, which was super fun. It felt very Stormcast to be like, okay, so the little guys are fighting. I'm going to go kill the actual big bads. And so that was super fun to kind of jump out and do those, which was cool. And then eventually, it wasn't that I was ignoring my opponents. There was definitely lots of dead opponents on the way too.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it was neat to go through and do the story missions too. It felt very Stormcasty, and like the Vanguard extra movement made the game feel a lot faster for my Stormcast instead of like, and we plod forward and fight this guy. It was more like, and we're all where we need to be, shooting and fighting the whole time. So it was cool. It was nice to step back into Stormcast after a day of playing Twistweld. And be like, oh, good, this is what an average army would feel like. Hallelujah. And like the Gryph-hounds, like there's just lots of like everybody got a whole bunch of flavor out of it, and I thought that was cool. Like everybody was like, wow, it wasn't, and I rolled really well on this roll. It was like, oh my god, I smashed the crap out of this insert model here. Oh, these Steel Helms came and beat me up over here. Just the story was so immersive that we were just like in it, and that was really cool. And that's a lot of like the storytelling, it's a lot of the board, it's a lot of just the people you play with, right? Nobody was like, and I min-maxed my Vexmorn to murder all of you, right? There was less of that and more of the like, we had this really cool thing happen where the ogre got surrounded and he's trading influence to Preston to get him out of it, and trading influence to Mike to try and get him to not attack him, and Preston's trying to kill him, so he's trading influence with Mike, and there's just all these weird goofy things where they're trying but nothing's happening, they're just beating each other to death.
Lots of grudges were made.
So many grudges. Yeah, that game was so bloody. It was so bloody. I've since actually, it's funny. I wanted to bring this up too when we got here. I've used the door mechanic now twice in narrative teaching games for Kill Team. So like I'll do
Excellent.
a jailbreak where you have to pick the lock. I'll do collective successes for alarms. So like if the alarms go off, everybody goes and gets ambushed in the prison break. And it's super fun. It makes for a really fun gaming experience. So
yeah, add a little random element, but it gets easier as you do more rolls, and then I gave mystics a bonus, but we didn't really have any mystics, so nobody got to take advantage of that particular bonus. But we had assists where a friendly model could assist and make it easier to roll to get the next step in the lock completed. So, Mike, do you have any other thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was just such like a novel experience overall. I think it was cool to use this rule set that we're so familiar with, but do it in such a different way that created such a different style of game and a different way to play, and just really also just kind of got out of the way. It gave us like a runway to, hey, go ahead and move down here whenever you're ready, but just also gave us an opportunity to do the silly things that was just fun interacting with each other and stuff like that the entire time. So yeah, it was just one of the more memorable Warcry things I've ever done. And it was like the least Warcry related, but it was just really, really cool that, the design of it was really clever. I think it just gave an opportunity to play so differently, and that's refreshing. And spending the whole day doing it, just hanging out with cool people, and stabbing them in the back or helping them out, and having it matter, and feeling like there's progress at times for it. It was a really fun day, really fun event, and looking forward to hopefully doing some more of those in future, and trying to remember not to just sit and fight and kill the entire time, so that we can go home at a reasonable hour. Seems wise.
Yeah, no, I know. In the deep narrative, I had included some rules that were things happened on the periphery that forced you to move towards the center. Like either the wave of zombies coming on the mushroom boards, and on the other board it was waves of kind of furies and other sorts of creatures to encourage people to leave the board and move to the center. And I didn't really include that sort of thing in this mechanic because we had reinforcements kind of coming in. But I definitely think that next time, we'll need some way to cap the time, so to speak. Maybe encourage like the doors are moving, or something starts bad happening if you're not moving towards the objective on this board, or some way to encourage people to we need to get this doors open.
Yep. Some incentive to progress.
Because everybody was having a lot of fun. It's like, guys, there's still one board. We got the main board and the main boss. You guys haven't even got there yet.
Yep. And everybody else is leaving, so let's get to it.
But yeah, it was a great time. It was wonderful to see everybody having a blast, and all the fun stories and the grudges that were being made. Like, you took down my leader, I'm gonna take him. Egg Grot coming back on in different places and different boards to try and get revenge. It was absolutely hilarious. Right. So definitely had a fun time, and yeah, we'll have to think about other unique formats for future Mortal Realms cons and other events as well. So definitely be fun to play, introduce other people to some sort of mechanics like this. And, the boards are made, so I'd like to use them again, right?
Ideally, yeah, it's nice to be able to
Right,
not have to
right.
rework it from scratch every time.
Right, exactly. But yeah, no, I think overall, we were pleased with the number of people that came out, and it sounded like everybody enjoyed the games, enjoyed the time. So definitely looking forward to running it again in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Any other last thoughts about the con? Soon, we got to plan a Adepticon first. and you have to decide, Mike. How much of that you're going to input, or play more, or whatever. So we'll leave it things to decide later.
I'll do both. I can handle it.
Exactly.
I'll be running on no sleep as per usual, so I'm sure it'll be a disaster.
Yeah, you missed last year. You didn't get to play in the event at all because you were traveling or something.
That's right.
Can't remember. Yep. So.
Yeah, but hopefully
it'll be fun.
Yeah, hopefully this year be able to be rocking the whole time.
Excellent. Well, any other thoughts, guys, before we wrap this up? No, it was fun. It was good. It was a blast.
It was super
planning.
Fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. All right. Well, thanks everybody. As Vint usually will indicate where you can find us.
So if you want to, you can find us on the Mortal Realms Discord under the Warcry tab there, or the Dogs of Warcry tab there. And you can always hit us up on the website, the Mortal Realms website, and shoot us an email there. Let us know what models you want us to do out of our dark water, deep water, sunshine, tequila style game. We're gonna paint models of. It's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna make fans decide for you. Okay. Well,
I don't mind. They can pick for me. I'll get a couple done by the time these guys get started, so it's fine. They're gonna get a box. I'm not even gonna get the models for another 2 months. When they come out on a sprue, or I find one on the street somewhere, and then I'll put it together and paint it, and then they'll finally. Yeah, it'll be in my trunk. Somebody's gonna leave one in my trunk. It is in State Street ramp of Madison. So,
well, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you guys. It's a blast as always.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Until next time.
Toodaloo.
Welcome to the Midwest side, those ruthless, narratively driven podcasts you'll ever turn by. I'll be in fall. We get so fast, dice, roll, in the sun, never solo, no snow to the Dogs of Warcry.